This morning, Hunter Biden's legal fate is in serious question. This is after his plea deal collapsed at the last minute in this remarkable, really unprecedented court hearing yesterday. The federal judge put it all on hold as the president's son was preparing to plead guilty to tax crimes to avoid prosecution on a felony gun charge. This hearing was supposed to be quick, 30 minutes, just a formality, but it turned into an hours-long ordeal as the judge raised questions about this deal.
She called it unusual, at one point asking if it was even constitutional. So the judge said she would not be a rubber stamp there. The deal began to unravel when the judge asked if it gave Hunter Biden broad immunity for other possible crimes, including in his foreign business dealings in Ukraine and China. But when a prosecutor responded no, Hunter Biden's lawyers snapped back that in that case, the deal would be null and void. Let's bring in now CNN political correspondent Sarah Murray. So, Sarah, I think a lot of people in reaction are wondering, how did they even get to that point?
Yeah, I mean, this is not the day that anyone expected to have in court. As you said, Hunter Biden walked into that federal courthouse in Delaware prepared to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges and strike a deal to complete a program that would allow him to avoid a felony gun charge. But as the judge was sort of pressing about what the scope of this deal encompassed, things began to fall apart. And Politico obtained a copy of a version of this plea deal. CNN has not verified that it's the final version, but I want to read you part of it because it gets into, the scope of what this deal was supposed to encompass. It said the United States agrees not to criminally prosecute Biden outside of the terms of this agreement for any federal crimes encompassed by the statement of facts. This agreement does not provide any protection against prosecution for any future conduct by Biden or by any of his affiliated businesses. So as the judge is running through this, making sure Hunter Biden knows what he's pleading to, she says, is this an ongoing investigation? And prosecutors confirm it is. And they say, and the judge says, so, you can't bring maybe charges against him for tax crimes, but could you bring charges against him for foreign lobbying? And the prosecutors say, yes, we could. And that is the point when the deal begins to fall apart. Hunter Biden's attorneys say that's not our understanding. They take a recess. They come to an agreement again about this deal, the prosecution and the defense, and say, okay, we've reached a deal in which prosecutors will not prosecute Hunter Biden for tax crimes over a 5-year span. They're not going to prosecute him for drug offenses. They're not going to prosecute him on this firearms offense. And that is the scope of it. And then as the judge continues to look this over, she takes issue especially with this deal to avoid the felony firearms charge and essentially says, I'm not going to reject it or accept it, but I want more information. I'm going to put this on hold. And she has given both sides 30 days essentially to answer some of her questions and concerns about this plea deal.
Sarah, you've reported on this so closely for so many months. There is a world in which a plea deal does not come together, right? And where this could go to trial?
I mean, there is, of course, a world. I mean, I think the way we saw yesterday play out, the way this deal fell apart, came back together, the judge's concerns about it, there is always a chance that this is the kind of thing that ends up going to trial, which I don't necessarily think is what prosecutors want in this case. My colleagues have previously reported prosecutors had some concerns about some parts of the strength of this case as they've been investigating Hunter Biden. And obviously, it seems like Hunter Biden would like to avoid a trial. So I think what's most likely is both sides are going to go back and try to craft a plea agreement that they think is going to satisfy the judge, maybe make tweaks to the one they have, or at least be able to answer the judge's questions more efficiently. But you can't rule out the possibility that this could be something that goes to trial. And again, because Hunter Biden was not able to get that deal signed off on in court yesterday, he did this pro forma move of pleading not guilty.
Sarah, thank you for the reporting.
Let's bring in now CNN senior legal analyst and former federal and New Jersey state prosecutor Elie Honig. Elie, when you look at this, we have this proposed plea deal. How do you get to the point where you show up in front of a judge and you have the DOJ and Hunter Biden's attorneys who have such a different view of what the agreement is that they all agreed to?
It's a great question. In large part, it was a failure of lawyering. It was a failure by DOJ. It was a failure by Hunter Biden's lawyers to communicate and made sure that they had the agreement set. Now, the key language that Sarah just talked about in that plea agreement essentially says Hunter Biden will not be further prosecuted for anything laid out in the statement of facts. If you look at that document, there is a statement of facts. It's about 4 pages, and it lays out Hunter Biden's business history, making millions of dollars, by the way, from Chinese companies and from Ukrainian companies, and his drug use history. Now, this is where the legalese comes in. There's play on this. DOJ apparently reads that to mean only the tax stuff that's talked about in the actual text. Hunter Biden's lawyers said, well, we sort of understood it to mean anything in the periphery, anything that might touch on any of his foreign dealings at all. That was the disconnect. And when the judge identified that, she said, you don't have a deal.
Yeah. By the way, the judge here, meticulous in her questioning a former patent attorney.
Yeah.
It was really interesting to just hear as Kara was coming out of the court and reporting that as this was going step by step. The question was ambiguity.
Yeah.
And how ambiguous this language is. And then the issue of potential FARA charges came up. Can you explain to people what that is and why that matters?
Yeah, so first of all, I think the judge is the only person in the courtroom yesterday who did her job properly. The judge, when the judge was trying to explore this disconnect, what is he covered for, what is he not, the judge said, interestingly, she said, would he be covered for FARA, which is the Foreign Agents Registration Act, which says if you are lobbying the U.S. government on behalf of a foreign government, you have to register with DOJ. Hunter Biden had not registered. And DOJ here said he's not covered for that. And Hunter Biden's team went, whoa, that's a problem. And that is crucial. Is he still chargeable for this under their agreement or not? And when the judge identified that, she said, you all need to go back to the drawing board here.
Can I just ask you, why wouldn't they think that that was possible? Why wouldn't Hunter Biden's team think? Because this is anything but a normal case. And that letter from David Weiss, was it a month or so ago, did say that the investigation was ongoing. I know we all thought that was sort of pro forma, but apparently it wasn't.
I think the answer is undue optimism. I think they were hoping he would be covered. Maybe that clearly they never had a direct conversation about this with prosecutors, which is not good practice by defense. It's important to understand. A plea agreement is an agreement. It's a contract. It's the most important contract you will ever, not you too, but one will ever.
Let's hope we never have a plea agreement, Poppy.
One would hope.
You never know. It's the most important contract one will ever enter into. Forget about buying a house or something like that. A plea agreement is your future, and the judge has to do her job there and make sure there is not going to be a dispute down the line about what this means. What you are buying here, defendant, you have to fully understand.
All right. Ellie, appreciate it. We'll be checking in with you.
Back.
Yes, you will.